Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about massive news of developments involving Quant, including how Quant could be at the centre of a number of cbdc developments for years to come. So before we talk about the main story today, I'd like to show you a clip featuring a representative of the BIS going into detail and providing insights in regards to how the BIS are conducting research for cbdc developments, including interoperability and API gateways for future cbdcs.
Now, these arrangements involve more than one central bank and therefore more than one currency. And this is why such arrangements are typically governed as DLT platforms. So this is a view of the canopy from above. And the BIS Innovation Hub has coordinated trials of several multi-CBDC platforms.
So as detailed in the clip, the Bank for International Settlement have actually conducted a number of initiatives and research studies looking at how interoperability will become more important and integral, especially when CBDCs are rolled out around the world, and how interoperability will become a key and intrinsic component in future CBDC interoperability and communication. So a number of small articles have actually been detailed and highlighted to how interoperability will become increasingly more important, and how the benefits of blockchain in terms of it being decentralized does have some limitation, especially the fact that most blockchains, well, generally all blockchains can't interoperate or interact. So this could be a limiting factor which could hold blockchain and DLT behind, and may be a limiting factor which could lead to DLT not being incorporated by more industries or all industries around the world. However, there has been some insights and details in regards to how interoperability and interconnectedness will become increasingly more important, especially in the case of how the internet was rolled out and how the internet infrastructure was designed, where interoperability and the connectivity of software applications and just general internet databases were integral, especially when such developments came about, and DLT and blockchain could follow a similar pattern where, again, interoperability will become imperative. And DeFi is a increasingly more popular and growing industry, and DeFi is at the center of DLT and blockchain innovations and protocols. So interoperability will become increasingly more necessitous and a must, especially if DeFi becomes more mainstream and DLT and blockchain become more integrated and incorporated into wider industries for years to come. And again, at the center of such developments will be overledger. So a number of further articles have actually been highlighted and detailed to, where a number of initiatives including Hyperledger have actually detailed and highlighted to how interoperability between enterprises will become more important, and also how overledger could become the natural option for interoperability activities, especially between DLTs in the future. So we've spoken about this on a number of instances, but overledger is the only innovation that universally provides interoperability between DLTs, all DLTs, and also DLTs and legacy systems. So this means that overledger provides dual utility and also provides the ability for DLT to interact with legacy platforms. So this will become increasingly more important, as it's quite unlikely that there'll be a complete overhaul of legacy networks. So blockchain will have to have some degree of connectivity and interoperability with legacy systems for it to function and operate effectively and coherently. So with a number of initiatives and stories surrounding the potential usage and utility of overledger, especially in terms of interoperability, a number of other initiatives and developments have actually occurred, most notably the Bank for International Settlements Project Rosalind protocol and initiative, where the protocol was actually entitled Building API Prototypes for Retail CBDC Ecosystem Innovation, where the article actually highlighted to how retail CBDCs will become the norm, and how during the Project Rosalind development, where the BIS and the Bank of England were at the centre of, was a resounding success. So during the experimentation of API gateways and how API gateways will become more necessitous and necessary for CBDC interoperability, future CBDC interoperability, it was found that API gateways would be a necessity and would be required to especially provide connectivity between CBDC ledgers, varying CBDC ledgers around the world, and also their connectivity with legacy infrastructure, and especially within the banking and financial services. So, as I mentioned, the BIS and the Bank of England were at the centre of Project Rosalind, but other financial bodies were also involved in this project, most notably Quant, where Quant was actually the option of choice in the development of API gateways, where Quant's overledger was the chosen API fabric which allowed for the active ability for interoperability to occur between prototype CBDCs and the connectivity between these prototype CBDCs and legacy infrastructure. So, as mentioned in the following tweet, Project Rosalind was a success. So in turn, the utility of Quant's innovations was successful too. So very exciting, and it goes to show how effective Quant's use cases are, and how Quant could be at the centre of future developments, and including how the likes of the Bank of England could harness Quant's overledger into their own developments and protocols. So the string of tweets actually went into a bit more depth about how a two-tier retail CBDC model will look like, especially about how CBDCs will interact with retail banks and in turn individuals across a number of nations around the world. So this is a nice diagrammatic illustration of how a two-tier CBDC framework and infrastructure could appear and how this could impact a number of individuals around the world. So this part of the article actually highlights how APIs were at the center of authorizing payments and the ability for accounts to interact during this procedure and event. So again, the article continued and provided further details about how APIs will be at the center of such initiatives and developments. And also the article finished and highlighted to how the BIS and the Bank of England, and as well as Quant, weren't the only organizations and entities involved in this initiative, where other big organizations and institutions included Amazon, the Bank of Hungary, as well as the Bank of Canada, Barclays, and MasterCard were also involved in this joint innovation and development. And again, these entities were involved in API protocols and provisionings. So very exciting that a number of highly esteemed organizations have been at the center of such a development, and what this could mean for the wider marketplace in terms of the utility of API gateways for CBDC interactions, and how these organizations may choose to leverage API gateways, in the case for Quant for example, for their own development. So very exciting, and it'll be interesting to see how things play out. So finally, I'd like to talk about another statistic, a very positive statistic, especially in regards to Quant, where a number of huge organizations have actually aligned themselves with Quant, including Deloitte, KPMG, and PwC, where these organizations combine for $103 billion in annual revenue and 850,000 employees. So these companies have actually chosen Quant's overledger to be an optional choice for their clients in view of rolling out DLT. So it's extremely exciting and bullish that such highly esteemed organizations have earmarked Quant's, especially Quant's overledger, as an option of choice, especially in regards to developments involving blockchain infrastructure and technology within their own workflow. So very exciting, and it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And it adds to another list of use cases surrounding overledger and another partnership Quant is at the center of. And it'll be interesting to see how these initiatives and developments play out over the long run, and whether overledger could be the option of choice for initiatives surrounding the execution of blockchain innovations and developments for years to come, and whether the revenue, as highlighted, some of that revenue pass into overledger and have an impact on Quant as a whole. But again, time will tell, and it'll be interesting to see how these initiatives and developments play out over the long run, and how this could affect the price of QNT. What are your thoughts on Quant? Are you bullish on Quant's involvement in CBDC developments around the world? Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching Crypto Clan. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. Let us know your views in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.